Hello, people.
Hi,
Hey,
everyone.
everybody. Type in where you are. I didn't open the chat yet. So, what did you want to talk about today?
So we were just chatting about some possible topics for today.
Hmm.
And one thing that I feel like I constantly struggle with is the schedule of illustration. I feel like it's go, 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 and then it's super slow. So I'm in a
Um,
period right now where I feel like I have to be doing a million things.
for
And
illustration work.
yeah,
Hmm.
and I feel like it's really hard to manage. So that's one thing I want to talk about today. So I know some other people probably struggle with that as well. And then hopefully we're going to see some of your artwork.
Did I do this? Type in where you are. Let's make sure I did the right. Oh, good. Hi, Anne and Josie. And you can put questions in the Q&A. Sorry I
No,
interrupted.
you're good.
So, so is the question what to do when you're busy or what to do when you're slow or what?
So I guess just kind of all of it. So what did you used to do whenever you were working as an illustrator and as an artist
Mm.
during your slow periods? And then during these periods that everything was like you had a million deadlines all at once, how
Hmm.
did you manage it?
So I came up with this idea of clumping, and I now see that they
Clumping.
do chunking. But I
Ah.
came up with this idea of clumping. So I knew that I could do I knew when my best times were.
Mm.
Like when I lived in New York, it was like early after lunch because I lived in New York and get up late. Um, no one got to the New York Times till 11 in the morning anyway. So if you had a job with them, they weren't even there
Really?
because they were so up late on deadline
Oh,
that they came in.
wow.
Yeah, but they were there till like, I don't know, much later, maybe 8 or 9, I think.
I wonder if it's still like that.
Probably because
Or,
the news comes in
right.
and they write about the news. But anyway, and
Hmm.
sometimes you'd get an assignment late. Um, so I thought about when my times were, and then I simply took a piece of paper and did morning, afternoon, evening, and just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so like 21 blocks. And
Hmm.
let's say I got a job and I knew it would take me two roughs and three times working on finish. So I'd write the name of the job like Vogue, rough one of one of two, two of two, finish one of two, blah, blah, blah. And then I'd stick them around, being aware of any appointments I had and so forth. People didn't have appointments like they do now, by the way. um, is just different. I can talk about that later. But and then the other thing is I write the due date. So maybe it's due in 2 weeks. His editorial was like
Hmm.
that. So I knew I had to be done before 2 weeks, like 2 days before. But I see what other jobs I had already post-it noted. And then the thing with that too is if you get a call, you can look and see if you're booked solid, there's no room for it. So you need to ask for more time. So it's visual and you're not just coming up with an idea in your head. It's based on data and you
Hmm.
can see. So that was that.
I
So,
love knowing that you have 21 spots or
mhm.
whatever it is, however you clump your day.
Oh,
That's really helpful.
except guess what? I would cross out a bunch of those.
Hmm.
Like first I learned don't work on Saturdays.
Mm.
And then don't work Sundays because guess what? You will get it all done during the week if you know you don't have that. And I would X off like I'm going to the gym Tuesday and Friday mornings with Jean, so I won't do anything then. In fact, all the more and your three clumps might be 1 to 3, 3 to 5, 8 to 10 p.m., like whatever your clumps are. And I found like a 2 hour clump worked for me. But I didn't have 21 clumps. I maybe had like 10.
Right. But whenever you can put everything out and then
Hmm.
you can cross out what's actually available and what's not,
Hmm.
that's helpful. That's a tangible way to really think about
Yeah,
it.
that's what you have to come up with a good system because um if you are working on if this is your career, you cannot be stressed continually because A, you won't do your best work. It's not good for your mental health. It's just not this is not why you became an illustrator or an artist.
Mhm.
You did it because you want to like sit by the lake and draw pictures. So,
I
the
find
time.
myself being reminded of that, whenever I am stressed, because I used to have a very stressful teaching job. And that was like,
Oh,
there was nothing I could do about it.
mm,
And so then switching and coming into
mhm.
having my own schedule, being able to do things my own time, that now when I am stressed, I'm like, wait a minute, this is not what I signed up
That's
for.
right.
What can I change right now? Because this
Mhm,
isn't how I want to feel, and everything
mhm,
is in my power to change it. So last week I asked you this question because I had to actually push a deadline for somebody. I had to reach
mm,
out because I was so
mm,
stressed about
mm,
getting this thing done for them, and
mm,
I knew I wasn't going to be able to do it.
mhm,
So I sent them what I had done, and I said, "Look, like I totally underestimated how much time this was going to take. I'm
mhm,
so sorry. Here's the work in progress.
mhm.
Are you open to extending the deadline? I'd really love to give this
What'd they
project."
say?
They said, "Yeah."
Oh, good. And
They were
what you
like,
said
"It's
was
totally
great.
fine."
Oh, that's great.
But I was so stressed, and as I was working on it, I was like, "This is not good. I'm not
Mhm,
happy with it.
mhm.
They're not gonna like it, so
That's
why am I just working frantically
right.
to get
That's
it done?" But I was so nervous to send them that because I thought maybe they would just say, "Never mind, we don't wanna work with you." But
yeah. It's not anything you want to do going forward, but over time you'll get better at estimating. And
mhm,
so what you do is if you have a job like a picture book, you're going to have a jillion post-its, but for the next 3 or 6 months what's there and when to
mhm,
do it. And I could only do art during my best energy. So usually, as I've said before, would be after I worked out. I would do it and have a nice cup of coffee. And I couldn't do it like first thing or last thing. I never did all-nighters because I needed to make a living with my art. And if you turn in a really crappy piece, you're not going to be called back.
mhm,
So there is a lot of pressure in that sense, but as you do more art, you get better and better, and it's much easier to make a great piece. Like there's a high likelihood that it's going to be really good, at least good to very good to like, wow, you really struck gold on that one. You're not going to strike gold on every piece. You just don't. That's okay. I would say, Lila, you're just paying the rent on this one, or it's not a cool job. It's like, why did they even hire me? As you see my art, it's like, okay, but I
but
don't get it, but
if
I'll
you
do my
send it
thing.
off and they approve it,
Yeah.
okay.
Hmm.
That's
And
important to
yeah,
remember sometimes.
yep. And that's how it goes. That's a good question, though.
Yeah, because it was just like I hated feeling that way last week, and
Yeah.
I know
You
I
should
should have.
call me.
Yeah.
You have the hotline to Lil, man.
Thanks, next time. But I guess a big part of it too is knowing how long things will take you. And this was a new
That's
type of project I was
how
working
are
on,
you?
and I had
Yeah.
no idea, but
Right.
now I know. So just, I guess, being really cognizant of time
Mm-hmm.
too. And with those clumps, like, okay, I worked for the 2 hour clump.
Mm-hmm.
Now what? We need to reassess, move on to the next thing.
Yeah. And it is really figuring out like, so I would guesstimate 2 sessions for a rough
Mm,
and 3 for a finish, but maybe like once in a while it was less than that. Sometime, but I always padded it.
mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I can do this in one session. Well, no, I'll say 2 or 3, you know.
Yeah, that's smart. You give yourself extra because things always come up too.
Or it's not happening.
Yeah.
It's just like there are times I just can't freaking it looks like shit. And I'm like, I'm screwed, except I'm not because I padded in
Hmm.
time, allowing for those times when, like, you forget how to draw. Do you ever get that?
I mean, yes, but that's reassuring to hear that you feel that way too.
Like, I forget how to draw, or when I was an illustrator, like, I can't draw a penguin. I don't know. And also, we didn't have the internet. You could just
Yeah,
look stuff up.
I'm so grateful that we just have reference unlimited
know.
reference. I don't know what I would have done.
I had to draw a baseball player. I don't even know what baseball is. No, I do, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't know the clothing they wear.
Mm.
This was early on. It was a cool job, but I don't know how did I look in the newspaper? This was in
Oh,
the
in the sports
80s.
section. It's a good idea.
I don't know what I did.
Or you have to like go to the library.
I
I
would
don't
go to New
know.
York Public Library. That
Mm.
was amazing. The scrap file, scrap folder. Does anybody have any questions for us? Josie said, "Hi Josie, I have to fit art early in the morning when the house is quiet as I work in the afternoon. I'm lucky though, haven't had any real life deadlines, but I've had Matt's ones." Yes, you have.
Mhm.
You've done great work in Matt's. And what and are you in and I know you're in Canada. I worked as an editor and hired artists to do illustrations for textbooks. The deadlines for all of us were incredibly tight. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Katie says, you want to read Katie's?
Sure. I have a day job and kids, so art gets done when I can squeeze it in, and often I'm exhausted and don't do it. I just have to keep reminding myself it's not a race. My art materials aren't going anywhere. They're there for when I have time and energy for them. That's so important to remember. Yeah, sometimes we set these deadlines for ourselves or we want to do something and why. So just remembering that we don't have to do it in a specific time period. Josie has a
Oh,
question.
I got an iPad question.
Awesome.
I've been obsessed for 2 weeks. And you know what? I'm going to tell you something. Everyone, listen carefully. I have a scientific fact. Doing art lowers your blood pressure. Not that you have to care about that, but when you get older, my blood pressure is perfect. And I've been doing art for 2 weeks like crazy. And my work schedule is much easier. Josie says, I would love to know how Lila created those lovely paint effects in the portrait she painted on the iPad while she was traveling. Okay, well, I'm glad you asked.
Let me know if you want me to go get the little ones you printed.
Oh yeah, you want to get
Yeah,
those?
I think it'd be fun to show
Okay.
this. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll go
and I can also, I can pop up on can do a share. Um, so, share, share, share. Sorry, folks. Share. Boom, boom. Do you mean this one or like any of them?
These are the ones
So
you grabbed up here too.
so I work on my iPad and I like blow it up, like stretch it out so I can like, oh, the big portrait. Okay. How about this for the paint? So this is not Procreate. This is Inkset 4. This is all digital. The oil paint brush is incredible. This is the green is some oil paint. And this was probably oil paint. This is watercolor and then a thin line that is affected by pressure. Sorry if that was too loud. I just like to draw cups and faces and lines and listen to podcasts and daydream and make blobs. So this is what I did. And yeah, more lettering. Oh, that was
They're
fun.
so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Where do we go? Oh, up here. Oops. Stop share. That'll help. Oh, thank you. I'm having such a good time. Josie, does that answer your question? So it's relaxing, it's fun. Oh yeah. And then pick a card, any card. I'm printing these out on
Rocket.
Sprocket, Substack, Sprocket.
All the
uh,
things.
Aren't they so cute and shiny and they stick? And so you can put them on your water bottle.
And what a great idea to print these out, because when we work digitally, you don't
Don't get
get to see your
anything.
work. You know,
That's
you
a
don't get
good,
to hold it. So if you have this little sprocket, or you just print out miniature versions of them,
and you put them
it
on
can
the
be really
kitchen counter.
satisfying. Yeah, Lila has 12 of them out as a whole set or a series, and they look so beautiful
Thank
together.
you. And it's fun when I do one I like. Oh, I get to print it out.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was, first of all, and then I want to tell you about Inner Circle too, but when I was in Portugal with my retreat, I brought not my Substack, my squirrel, no,
Sprocket.
sprocket. I'm sorry, I'm very tired. My sprocket, and I let everybody print 8 prints to the sprocket.
Oh,
They're so,
cool.
yeah, and I'll do that for my next one next year. And they loved it. And I was so excited about the sprocket and telling them about it. So we did this bit where I was like a sales rep for sprockets. Did I tell you this already? Oh, I didn't tell you this? And it's like, all I need to do is get another 203 people to buy a sprocket and I'll go to the next level. And so we did this whole thing where it's like a multi-level. Yeah, we don't like to call it a pyramid scheme. We prefer to call it a multi-level marketing program.
Mm-hmm.
A sprocket is a little tiny printer. It's like the size of your phone, and you put paper in. It doesn't need ink. They're like Polaroids. It's really easy. It's just great. You send to your phone from your phone to the little printer.
And they have this nice shine on them, so they look
Yeah.
really professional when they're all printed out.
Yeah, and they're like waterproof. So I became a kind of pathetic sales person for the sprocket, but a few of them then did order
I
a
was gonna
sprocket.
say, how many
Yeah.
people actually
Oh
get
yeah,
one?
and it was
'Cause
like
I feel like
waiting
I
for
want to
them.
go get one.
Oh yeah,
So
it's really that's and I'm like so into it that people were kind of like, I made fun of myself. That was really fun. You might have convinced me. I have another brand, but the images are so small and I never use it bigger. Yeah, Katie,
Mhm.
it's fun. And I'm like, I love it. So, I'm not a sales rep or an affiliate for it, just putting that out there.
But we
Um,
all might be buying sprockets anyway, so maybe
I
you
should
wanna,
be.
should be,
I
yeah.
should have an affiliate link. Yeah, no, I don't. So there's that. And then the other thing I want to talk about is Inner Circle. Have I
Mhm.
told you about this? Inner Circle is brand new, something brand new. And it's 12 people maximum. I was so grateful it sold out really fast, which told me that there's a big desire for people to want one-on-one mentoring. And after 30 years as an agent and then 10 before that as an illustrator, I got a lot in this, the old nog. And so I love helping these artists. Each of them each one has a different goal. Um, one is to loosen up, one is find their style. On the other extreme is get their book idea published, get an agent, submit work to publishers, and so forth. So it's the whole range and it's very gratifying. I just want to share that.
So if people are coming in with all these different goals,
Mhm.
how does that work? You make assignments for everyone?
Yes, each person gets custom assignments. And so first it was just we would meet every Thursday and it was 2 hours and I'd go around to each. Well, first the team said meet with 3 people each week. And I'm like, well, then or 4 people, then it would take 3 weeks till some of the people got their first meeting. So I said, you
Right.
know what? I'm going to meet with everybody every week.
Wow, that's
And not only do
incredible.
I meet with everybody over 2 hours every Thursday, but then I'm like, I need to check in with them on Mondays, halfway through their assignment.
That's so nice. And also it gives people accountability. If they know they're
Yes.
going to be seeing you,
Oh, yeah.
they have to get stuff done.
Yeah. And I yell at them to give 20 hours. That's the only thing I yell at them
Wow.
for. But it's so cool because I customize to each one on the spot. And then sometimes I'll say, does that feel right to you?
Mm.
And sometimes I say, I've given you 3 assignments. You pick if you want to do 1, 2, or all 3,
Wow.
what you want to do, because the ball is in their court.
Hmm.
Like I can only do so much, but it's their work too. So
But then they also, if they don't have time to do all of them, or they're spending a lot of
mhm,
time on just one because they get really into it, they
mhm.
still have those assignments to come back to later.
That's true. Yeah.
So that's super
And
valuable.
and they build too. Then what they
Mm.
did, then I'm like, okay, now I want you to do this, or this. And it can be go on Pinterest and find 10 illustrations you love. Go find 10 products you love.
Mm.
In addition to art, making a piece, or I want you to sketch, blah, blah, blah. Some of it is art, some of it is research. Um, and the other cool part is that I forget. I
All the cool
actually,
parts you already said.
yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm loving that, and I think we're gonna see if I can do another in the fall.
You should.
So I'm telling all of you first, if you want to be a part of that. It's really rewarding for me. I'm obsessed with these folks, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do. And I think that I'll see if they want to do little video interviews with me that I could post, and we could like
I love that
see the
idea.
before and after and what they
Yeah,
did. Yeah,
that's super
that would
fun.
be super. And it's good marketing too.
Hmm.
That's how, and marketing should be, is it value added for your people, your viewers, your community? Is it helpful? Does it give them something? And is it going to be fun for you to do? And sure, you know, it might be work, it might be coordinating. I don't want to mess up, all those things. That's also a part of doing anything, but always let your passion and excitement be the driving force.
I do find that marketing is kind of challenging to do it because I
Really?
feel like on social media, that's where I think to do a lot of marketing, that's where you're sharing a lot of work.
Yeah,
But you
totally.
always attract other artists, which is great. I
Mhm.
love following other illustrators,
Oh,
right? But like another illustrator is not going to hire me. So, what are some other ways besides social
mm,
media or using social media in another way um, that
to
we
get
can, yeah, do some marketing or find clients?
okay, well, first off, it's the illustrators who chime in and
Mm,
like and comment, but art directors and agents are looking
mm,
and they follow people. I tended to never, I think this is a true statement, never like an artist's work unless I was very serious about taking them on, because I didn't want somebody to think was going to take them on and then they submit and then I have to say no.
mm-hmm.
So it's very, very judicious about my liking. And I think art directors and other agents are probably that way as well. Doesn't mean we're not looking, however. So what else can you do to promote? You send work to these places, the
Mm-hmm.
companies, get an agent,
Mm-hmm.
send your work around. But what do you do on social media? Just keep
Just
showing
keep
your
doing it.
work. Yep,
Yeah.
that's the best thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for social videos, I'm using edits for my videos. Do you know that?
Oh, yeah, I just downloaded it.
Yeah,
Instagram just came out with this new app called Edits to edit videos.
I did. So you saw voiceover, music, text, images, and you could just slide everything around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really helpful. I
Mhm.
also like that because you can do the same type of edits in Instagram, but they just become drafts in your drafts folder. And then
Oh,
sometimes there's like a
I like
glitch and
that.
your drafts all get deleted or something. I think edits just launched like
It did,
a
yeah,
week or two
yeah.
ago. So I'm really excited to have all of that in one
Mhm.
place because I need to get back on my social media game. I posted some things after Bologna, but I haven't posted anything
You're very
since.
good though, but you do
Thanks.
Substack, you're always on
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard, I find, to manage I found myself last week, I was like, maybe I just need to hire someone, be like,
Uh,
just like post things for me, pay them
right.
for like whatever. Cause I take all these pictures of my work, I take videos, and then I never sit down to actually, well, I shouldn't say
Right.
never because I do post
Rarely.
often,
Yeah.
but I have so much stuff I've just never posted. I finished a book last November. I posted one image from it like
Mm,
3 weeks ago. And I'm like,
okay.
this is bad.
Here's the thing. This is do you hear what she's saying? That we all have stuff we don't want to do. Mainly as an artist, you want to just do art.
Mm.
And in the old days, when I was an illustrator, you had to get your work printed, which was quite costly. There weren't color printers. Put it in your envelope that you had printed out. Address it by hand, turn address. I made a rubber stamp and brush lettering for my return, and send your stuff around all the time. Like, yes, that's right, Katie, it is called edits. And you had to do this every week, really.
Mm.
You had to just keep doing it. So finally, I hired somebody for not a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of money, and it was like 4 hours once a week. But I've I'm good at facing the facts. Lily, you need to do it. You hate to do it. You spend more time on your art.
Mm-hmm.
I did other things, but try to delegate what you can. And that's good practice for you because over time you're going to delegate more and more. Maybe a bookkeeper, maybe you know, whatever it is. Cleaning your house is so important. Getting somebody to do that if you can, like as many things, as long as you don't then just sit and like scroll on your phone, but you keep making art and putting it
It's
out
one of
there.
your clumps of time. You've got to use
That's
it,
right.
you know?
That's right. You put that in the clump.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that so this is interesting. Before my period, I was the most intuitive, dreamlike, creative. But I could get nothing accomplished that was linear.
Hmm.
After my period, man, organize, get stuff out, do my thing.
Hormone levels do really have a big impact on how you
Totally.
work.
Hmm.
It's interesting to be aware of it.
Yes, so definitely use that. Fortunately, I don't have any of that anymore. It's a breeze. Don't be jealous. Not to brag. That's my daughter.
So that, did you notice then like a difference because you weren't experiencing as many
Oh,
fluctuations
postmenopausal?
during the month?
Oh my God, this is me.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Huh.
This is my mood. I mean, I might like be happy about something or sad about something, but it's situational. It's not hormonal. In other words, like you hear something in the news, you get upset, but you don't just have this random upsettedness or depressedness or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic.
Hmm.
And the beauty of it is we don't talk a lot about the gifts of women and like the menstrual cycle and premenstrual post menopause, the gifts of aging. I'm telling you, this is such a good. I'm 70. It's like the greatest. I went to the garden shop, did some emails because I'm still working. Um, I do my e-courses, as I think are all of you Matt students. I know Josie is. Does anybody else have any questions?
Josie did put another one.
Oh, you want to
Do you want
read
me to
that?
read it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Lila. Can I ask if you'll ever bring back the original boot camp? I love the variety of assignments, and they were always ahead
Yeah.
of trend. I'd love to see it back, and it was one of my favorites.
Oh, that's a good point. I did lettering boot camp, color boot camp,
Character boot camp.
character boot camp, but that was assignment boot camp. Oh, let me write that down. That was fun to do. Um,
What were some of I think I probably took it. Was that the one that was like you'll design a book cover
mhm.
and also packaging or things like that.
Yes, or uh yeah, or like oracle cards or greeting
Mm,
cards
hmm.
or um a map for a magazine or yeah,
I do think that'd be great.
it would
Anything,
be good. That is.
especially with it being ahead of trend. I agree with that,
Mm,
Josie. That class was. And there was
oh,
another
thank
class I
you.
used to like, and it was all about trends, but it's not
Mm,
offered anymore. So I would love to have something that's
okay.
somewhat tied to trends. I know trends can be a little, I don't know, you don't want to, what'd Josie say?
I'd see the trend a few months later, Lila's psychic.
Yeah, you are.
Thank you. Well, I was a professional psychic reader in New York and then do it from time to time here just for
Were you
friends.
really?
Yes, I really
I
was.
didn't know that.
Yeah,
What?
I've had a long life. Yeah, I was a professional psychic. And that's a story for another. I could tell you that whole how that came to pass. But
Well, is there like a exam or something you have to do? Like, what is the certification?
so I had just moved from San Francisco to New York to be an illustrator. That's what you had to do because the magazines were there, publishing and advertising. Those were who was buying cool work. There was some work in San Francisco, but it was it wasn't like Mara Coleman, Mara Coleman who just did the titles for The Resident, that show.
Oh, yes, actually, I was thinking about you with
Yes, because
that. I was
we're
thinking,
the same vibe, a
mm,
similar vibe. So, and of the
I didn't
same
finish it yet,
time.
so don't say
I didn't
anything.
either.
Okay. I have two
I'd
episodes
watch it
left.
with my husband. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
not
me
even.
too.
Oh,
Yeah.
cute. So I saw, so it's before the internet. I see there's a phone poll. So the way to show a course or a class was you printed something out at the printer. You'd go to the printer shop and get some prints at like 25 cents each, which was a lot then. Anyway, you put it on the wall. I saw a poster for tarot class, tarot, and I'm like, I've
Mm.
always wanted to learn about that. And so I took a class with this eccentric older woman on like the Upper West Side, and it was like a 2-room apartment. And of course, she had like 3 cats or what have you. And she did readings for people, but she taught us the tarot. She was getting her doctorate at Columbia. She was really bright, and it's Jungian and it's like Egyptian. There's like all this meaty stuff in there and the cards and it's a really great psychological, like each card represents a different sort of psychological moment. Anyway,
Mm.
it's fascinating. I loved it. And one, I don't know what happened, but she said, Lila, I think you're psychic. I'm going to bring in one of my clients and why don't you try doing a reading? I'm like, what? And she said, like how you get the pictures in your head. Okay. So we did that, and apparently it went extremely well.
Wow.
So she said, I do this it's what a psychic fair on Lexington and 44th at a hotel, the Doral Hotel on like the 8th floor every once a month. Why, let me give you the phone number of the guy who runs it and see if you can do. Oh my God, this is incredible. This is like it's like I won $1 million. Like I can do this magic. Anyway? So I went to his office and I had to do a reading of him, and apparently that went very well. I did get
Of
lots of
course.
pictures, so I got the gig, and so I would do that. And
Wow.
then I taught psychic buffet in my apartment in Brooklyn for like some really wonderful people. And we did like a week. I'd always done astrology. So we did like 2 weeks of astrology, 2 of tarot, crystals, whatever. It was really nice, psychic buffet. So thank you about the psychic stuff, but trend, and I think artists,
Sorry, one thing first. People need to know this story because when you read their career tarot cards, like this
it's a
this
real,
has some serious meaning behind it.
it's some serious, and
Yeah.
how my hand picks the cards, like the card lights up that I'm supposed to pick, and I did it in Portugal too,
Ugh,
and people loved it, and I did it when I
incredible.
did the one in whatchamacallit before that, France. So, nobody's 100%, believe me, no psychic, and but as an artist, you do go deep. And getting deep allows you to get in that space where you get that information.
Mm.
Use that time when you're making art to trance out, to kind of just get information you might hear or get a sense of knowingness or what you're meant to do or what feels right in your art. I mean, I just feel so lucky, but maybe it's because I've tuned in for decades to what's right for me, even if it didn't seem right for any number of reasons. Like, really, you're going to be an artist in New York? That was nuts. And a woman in the 80s or whatever I did, but I just go with like what I feel like I'm meant to do. And it's a process. So you all have that as well, and it's something you could get better at tuning in. And that's what trends are. Trends to me, and you all have it as well. Like you go like, "Ooh, that's cool. Oh, that shape is cool. I haven't seen." It's like, what haven't you seen before
Mm.
that's popping up, or that you're fascinated by? And that's kind of how I do it. But maybe I should do assignment boot camp.
I really like that question of what haven't you seen before?
Hmm.
Because trend feels so abstract sometimes. And of course, we never want to create just to create something on trend.
Yeah, people say
But if
it's
you're
like,
connected to something,
that's
then you
right.
can.
And I think what it really should be is like, what are you fascinated by?
Hmm.
What are you interested in? What do you want to draw? And not do like, oh, like when it was owls. Well, yeah, you could have owls in your portfolio. They were around for a really long time. I was asked once when I was a speaker at Princesource, why, oh, will foxes be around as long as like owls? And I said, no, because fox owls are already like graphic designed. The front view, the wings, the triangle beak, the big eyes, they already are like designed. A fox doesn't have a good front view, first of all. It's
Mm.
always by the side. And that was my feeling about it in terms of how it was graphic and visual to draw, and it didn't last as long, but whatever. I mean, like right now, I want to draw cherries, so I'm drawing cherries. I don't know. I want to draw these
I
because
love that one.
I did too. Thank you. Because I just it would, and let me tell you something else. Like when you have to draw stuff for your book, do you ever go like, I don't know how to draw this or that?
Hmm.
Talk about that.
Yeah. So this is actually something I've been thinking about because this is really bad. I'm going to admit this, but the first piece I did for my children's book portfolio this year was the new assignment for the boot camp. So it's May, and I just finished my first children's book portfolio piece of 2025 in May.
Wait, I'm trying to understand. Okay,
So I hadn't added anything new to my portfolio
okay.
since 2025 until
In
I
this
just,
year.
yeah,
It's only
until
May.
I know, but I felt like I should have had more stuff, like more new
Yeah,
stuff.
but you've been working on gigs
Yeah,
and doing Substack.
true. And I've been working a lot on my sketchbook.
Okay.
So like I've been busy, I've been
You've been
doing
doing,
things.
yeah.
And I started teaching private art classes and like doing all these other things,
Yeah.
right? So really
Okay.
diversifying. That was kind of the goal at the
Okay.
beginning of this year. And I had my best January financially, so
Oh,
that was great. So I was
fantastic.
like, okay, this
Mm-hmm.
is working. But it meant that I didn't have as much time to create portfolio pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really excited to finish one. Was that just last week for the Matt's character boot camp assignment? I did the little mouse.
Oh,
So
good.
cute.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, but anyways, so because I've been doing a lot more low stakes art just in my sketchbook, pulling it
Mm-hmm.
out for 30 minutes, trying various materials and whatnot, whenever I started that assignment and then some of the other projects that I'm working on, it's just going a lot faster. because I feel like I've just drawn so many random things by
Okay,
this
yeah.
point in my sketchbook. I'm really giving myself a chance to just create and mess up and
You
play.
get better.
Yeah.
You
But
do.
then when there's something that I haven't drawn
Mhm.
before, like I'm doing this test spread for a board book and it's all African safari animals. So, for
That sounds
example,
good.
yeah, there was a bird that I didn't
Mhm.
even know about called oh gosh, what was it called? Now I don't remember, but it was some
Mhm.
specific like big bird I'd never heard of. So I had to Google it. I'd never drawn it, but I just
Right.
did the same thing that I do in my sketchbook. I just
Mhm.
kind of like played first. I drew it like 4 times.
Oh,
And then I said, okay, I'm ready to draw it now in the pose I want for the book.
that's
So I feel like
fast.
I was able to learn. I mean, then I had to do more edits and whatnot after that.
Okay.
But still, there's 25 animals on this spread. So just needed to get something down. So I didn't want to take
Wow.
too much time.
And when you do those sketches, so like I did, so I stylize everything in my
Mhm.
style. So I have to kind of get a feel for what I'm exaggerating in a
Mm.
way, but and what are the parts of the daffodil. So how do you go about drawing the thing? Do you like let's just say it's a tiger. Do you
Mhm.
like do the big shapes? Like what
I
are the
do it
shapes
two
and
different ways,
okay.
actually. I start with a reference
Mhm.
drawing. So I try to draw it as I see it.
Mhm.
Um, so I guess sort
To
of
get the
realistic.
yeah,
Yeah.
I do that too.
Just to,
Get the information.
yeah, because a lot of animals have really weird shapes that you wouldn't think about. Like the back of a giraffe actually is not flat across, it goes down. It's like on a
Oh,
diagonal.
yeah, that's
So,
right.
trying to create something realistic, you realize
Oh,
that,
that would be fun to do.
yeah, it is because it's like one big swoop from the top of the head all the way down to the back. It's fun. You
That
should
would be
draw some
fun.
giraffes. I'd love to
I'd
see
like
that.
to. I'm looking around because I did do a poster of something sort of like a giraffe once.
Hmm.
But yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to draw something a billion times too, till you get it stylized, excuse me, in your own way.
I feel like you have to just keep doing it too because some of the animals I was drawing and I was like, none of these are coming out like I want. None of these are
Oh,
cute yet because it's a board book. It has to be cute.
cute.
Um,
Or pretty.
yeah. But
They
some of
don't
them are
have to be
like,
cute. It depends on the tone of
mm,
what's the tone of the text? Is it
it's like nonfiction, so it has to be somewhat realistic but still
okay?
playful.
And is it cheery or is it informative? Sounds like
Hmm.
informative cheery.
Informative, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, was the large bird an ostrich?
No, it was not democracy bird, but it was something like that. It was some like fancy word at the beginning.
Wow.
I can look it up.
Okay.
We'll see if
And
anybody
while
knows
she's
it.
doing that, I'm going to show you what's on my other
Secretary
screen.
bird, that's what it was, not
Oh,
democracy.
close.
Secretary bird. Has anyone heard of that?
That's what they're seeing right now. This was an embroidered piece I did. Where are the oh here we are. And so that's stylizing a face. And I used my embroidery machine, but I did it like you have to do it digitally and tell the machine what to do. Can you see that? Are you all able to see the embroidery? Oh, good. Okay. Anyway, that's all I wanted to stop share.
I have been looking at that. It's on a monitor right over to the side. I've
It's
been
cool,
looking at it this
right?
whole time. Yeah, it keeps catching my eye.
Yeah, that was fun to do. That's that machine.
So you create a digital file and
Mm-hmm.
then you load it in and it,
Yes. And you tell it what colors. You do have to change the
wow,
colors by
okay.
as it goes. But you pick the different like look at that stitch
Yeah.
and then the scribble and
Mm.
I can't find where that is though.
At least you have a picture of
You know,
it.
could redo it. Anybody else have any questions?
We do have a list here
Oh
too.
yeah, okay.
Um, so I feel like this one kind of ties into some things we've been talking about
Mm.
today. How long did it take you to become successful in creating your art for a career? How long did it take
Oh,
you to
these
become
were questions for
successful?
me, right?
Yeah.
how long did it take me to, what's successful mean, you know?
Mm,
That's the first thing, like
yeah.
making a living. Um, it was, takes time in the beginning. The jobs are few and far between for some months. Um, and but I had an illustration portfolio, but it was okay. It was like had glimmers of okayness and some good things, but I did evolve as I go. I don't know, like a year?
Mm.
Depends what you mean. 3 years? I always feel like whenever I start a new business, it takes me 3 years to no longer feel like a beginner, 8 years to achieve mastery, and 12 years I'm bored. That's kind of true, except the agency, I didn't get bored after 30 years.
Well, there's
After
always
12.
something new, I'm sure.
Yeah, we
Changes so
could
much.
reinvent it and change
Yeah.
with it and all that. And it doesn't mean you have to quit the thing, but that's just me.
That is interesting to think about the time period because
Hmm.
I'm about 3 years in to art
Oh, and
and I feel like I'm not a beginner anymore. That
yeah,
was my
is that
takeaway
interesting?
from Bologna. I was like, oh, I feel
Mm,
like I was taken more seriously this year because this is my
that's
third
right.
time going to Bologna.
Yep.
And I
You
mean, I
gave
know,
advice even,
yeah.
like you knew enough about it to give advice on your social media.
Hmm. But I know I still have a lot of growth and a lot of
That's cool though.
opportunities to learn ahead. But yeah, I was like, oh, I think I passed that threshold, which was nice.
What would your dream job be? Or dream
Um,
jobs?
ugh, there's so many different things that I think would be cool. Like, remember those flower prints that I showed you?
Yeah, I have them over
So
there.
like I love stuff like that, just
Mm-hmm.
like really pretty, like
Mm,
decorative, just painterly. So just kind of like one-off projects like that.
mm.
And then I also love books, and I'd love to do more kids books that are, I feel like I've worked on some kids books that are like really specific, but not exactly with what I wanted to do
Specific
or
in what way?
specific to what like the client wanted, obviously,
Oh,
but not like there was a certain style they wanted, but it wasn't really a style I wanted to work in.
okay, so you
Or
want to show that style. You
yeah.
will only get work that you show, the kind of
Hmm.
work you show. So if you want a certain kind of thing, then do that.
Hmm. So that was
That's
a
a process.
big point for me whenever were we on the live already when you said you were giving people assignments? Yeah, we were. That was when you talked about Inner Circle with having them do an
Yeah.
assignment of going to the store and finding products that they like.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that after maybe like a year and a half of working digitally.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that all of the books that I liked were done with gouache, watercolor, colored pencil. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
why am I working digitally? There's nothing wrong with digital. I mean, we saw these beautiful digital pieces that you created, right? And I do still work digitally for some things. Like this
Mm-hmm.
board book that I'm talking about, they want vector illustration, so it's digital.
Sure.
But
And you can do all of the above. I
yeah.
mean, there's nothing like traditional media. It's just so luxurious and it's nature, it's earth, it's, materials, and
Hmm.
paper is cotton, which is a plant, and inks, I don't know what they're made from. I mean, it's like
Hmm.
vegetables and food. It's random what I'm saying right now, but and I love that too. But this is, I mean, being curled up first thing in the morning or in the evening with this guy,
Hmm.
it's just so gratifying.
It
And
is.
also now with my garden, there's like, oh, I want to draw that and I want to draw that. So
I know this is my favorite time of year. I love the spring.
it's beautiful, Boston.
Hmm.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it's finally getting warm here. The flowers are all blooming. I just put
Mm.
flowers in the flower
What'd
boxes.
you put in?
I actually don't know the names of all of them. So I was
Mm.
out visiting my grandma, and she lives in Western Mass, and there is a small little farm there. So I just bought a bunch of flowers there that I thought were pretty
Yeah,
and brought them back and
and
planted them.
stuffed them in.
Yeah,
Where in Western Mass?
Springfield.
Oh,
Yeah, she
okay.
was actually listening in last time we were doing one of these lives, but
Mm.
I didn't tell her about it today, so she's not here.
Katie says, I'm currently switching out some new gouache paints while I listen, having a lovely time. Oh, that's good. Um, Josie says, I'm currently making lots of accidents using traditional media.
Oh, that's the
That's
best,
so
Josie.
good. What else is everybody doing right now? Anybody else doing art? Oh,
Natasha has a question. Want
yeah,
me to read it?
yes.
And Natasha says that she's sketching with charcoal. Oh, fun.
Mm.
You know,
Oops.
Natasha, I wonder if you've used this. What's it called? There's like this liquid charcoal that everybody is
Pan
using.
pastel?
No, not pan pastel. Graph something.
Tinted charcoal
Hands drawn with
by
Procreate.
Derwent. Oh, that's good.
Art graph. Yeah, Katie, that's it.
Wow.
I want to try that.
Okay.
But
Okay.
anyways, okay, Natasha's question.
Yes.
I hear stylizing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Stylized face, stylized
Mm-hmm.
bird. I don't exactly understand what it means. Can you
Mm-hmm.
explain it to me? Explain to me what kind of work it is. Is it adding details or unrealistic features?
Okay, so if you draw something realistic, the proportions are exactly like the bird. Let's say you're drawing a bird, the proportions, the coloring, and so forth. When you stylize, you're making decisions about, it's like that face I just showed you in embroidery. Yes, it's got eyes, nose, and mouth, but the hair is going like this, and the nose is extra thin and long. You could think of it as cartooning as a kind of stylizing, or Matisse is stylizing. My work is very stylized. My work has exaggeration in it, has a point of view. The line quality is very apparent, whereas if you do something very realistic, it might not have, if you draw a bird, it doesn't have an outline perhaps. And it's a continuum. There's not one, it's just here, here's a photograph of a bird. Here's a drawing, very realistic of a bird. Here's a little looser, is an exaggeration. Over here is extremely stylized when it's just like a few lines, a dot for an eye, and or whatever. It does, but it can be very complex. It doesn't have to be simple. It's just when you are making a lot of decisions about the shape of it, so forth. A lot of picture book illustration these days is very stylized. There are not a lot of super realistic renderers who do like oil paint, like you might see in a museum. Although that would be cool. If somebody can do that, that would be beautiful. Do what nobody's doing. If you love it, don't do it just because nobody's doing it. Because if you don't want, I mean, I love oil paint, but I don't do it realistically. It's the greatest. I mean, the colors you get and the oil, like you literally smush oil around. Pretty great.
That is cool. I took an oil painting class in college.
Oh, how was it?
It was great, but I really ignored all my other classes, so I couldn't take another studio art class. I was just in the studio the whole time.
That's great. That
Yeah.
tells you a lot.
I know I loved it, but then because I was elementary
Mm-hmm.
education and I wanted to do something with art, so I tried studio art, but I was taking up too much time, so I had to switch to just art history. So just learned about all the art,
Okay.
but I didn't really make any art for the rest of college, so it's sad. Yeah, I didn't really get back into art until COVID time. Yeah.
Whoa. See that? That was fast.
Hmm.
Wow, that was just minutes ago. The big percentage of your entire life, though.
I don't know.
Like 25% of your life you've been doing art? No,
I don't
less than
know.
that. I'm doing the numbers wrong.
Well, I did a lot of art as a kid too.
Mm.
And then there was one
Yeah.
year, I ran the Boston Marathon, and for fundraising, I drew little caricatures of people running. And I thought they were so good. And I look back at them now and I'm like, wow, I've grown so much.
Yeah.
So, and I wasn't doing art professionally at any capacity at
Mm.
that point. I was teaching and just doing art like on a
Mm.
snow day or something like that. But then, yeah, I did that for fundraising and drew
Mhm.
dozens and dozens of people for,
So great.
yeah.
Yeah, just keep making art and you get better.
Mm-hmm. And you keep
Um,
coming back to it too when it's something you really love.
I love art. Thank you for the answers, says Natasha. It makes so much more sense now. Also, I took your drawing faces class and had many questions about faces you drew. Even had a dream once asking you about that. Wow, because I draw more realistic faces and couldn't understand the stylizing part. Haha, I love these chats. Oh, good. Thank you, Natasha. I'm so glad.
That
Um,
is such a good class. I remember when I took
oh,
it,
thank you.
and even just the way you described the distance of features on a face,
Mm-hmm.
but we all learn that in school, right? Even
Do we?
even like in elementary school, I feel like you
Oh.
get the circle face with the lines across and the line down the middle, the
Oh.
little grid. I feel like that's how we all learn to draw
Mm-hmm.
faces. But the way you described it in relation to other features
Like the
was like
ears.
a light bulb. That
Oh,
class is so good.
thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I had to figure it all out for myself. Um, when I'm really grateful because when I was in illustration school for my second degree, there was a lot of emphasis on drawing from life. We did clothed
Mm.
figure 3 hours twice a week, head and
Wow.
hands 3 hours twice a week, and we'd clothed figure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, head and hands 1, 2, 3, 4. And we just did so much life drawing. It really was good. But I don't know, we didn't have kids as models because, so I had to figure out how to draw kids
Mm.
because, they just had like adults be models.
But I think part of the reason you can stylize so well, maybe, is because you know the mechanics behind drawing a face and a
Mm-hmm.
figure. Like you know all of the things that
That's
make
right.
it up, so you can take away all of the extra details
Mm-hmm.
and just leave the really important
I
parts.
think that's true. Like as you're talking, I'm just loving your 3/4 view and that line of your nose and the eyes. And it's so, because you're young, all the lines are so crisp and clear. And I'm
I
just like
know.
dying to draw her, and
It's so nice, Lila.
understanding what happens at 3/4, what happens
Mm.
here, and as the nose goes and the things. So that helps. And I picture it before I draw it, not in
Mm.
great detail, but I know like where the eyes go and so forth. Katie has a question. Do you want to read it?
Sure, it's a long one. All right. I used to paint with oils and acrylics and then went and did fine art at university, and painting wasn't contemporary enough, or that's the impression I got. So I did photography and film instead.
Mm.
Then after uni, got into theater set painting. Oh, that's cool. TV art department props, then storyboarding for advertising, and finally remembered how much I love drawing, and I've been
Mhm.
slowly journeying my way back to illustration. And just this year started painting again, this time with watercolor and gouache.
Wow. Well, that's great.
Wow.
That's a journey.
Mm-hmm.
That would be fun to draw in a series of like boxes.
Mm-hmm.
What's that called? Like a graphic novel page or spread. Um, what would be nice is if you have a chat and draw session like Lila has on Creative Bug with Courtney. Oh, did I do that? I've done
We
so
have
many
talked
Zooms.
about doing something like
Oh,
that.
that'd be
That
nice.
would be
And we
fun.
could have, like, I've got that overhead thing.
Yeah.
We could sit there. Oh, we should
Mm-hmm.
do
That
that. We
would be
both
really
like
fun.
draw a
Yeah.
giraffe or
Yeah.
whatever.
I would love
Yes,
that.
you did, and I love that video. What was I drawing? Can't, when at my
You do a
age,
million things,
I
you
do a
know,
million
it's
things.
faces. That makes sense.
Uh, oh, wait, it was live? Hmm.
Is Creative Bug, you can stream different videos?
Yeah,
Is it
it's
like a
like
Skillshare?
Domestika.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I filmed 2 courses there. Do you know about
Oh,
that?
no, I've never
I fly out
signed
to
up for
San
Creative Bug.
Francisco.
Oh.
I bring my eye candy. Oh, here he is. Here's my eye candy. And hi, we're live, so don't drop the F-bomb really loud. Um, no, you can. And and they have a whole studio,
Mm-hmm.
and what I do is, and this is good to know if you ever do a filming of a course or whatever, I get these zipper pouches, like clear plastic, sorry, and I number them. So it was like a 30-day thing, so there's one for every day.
Mm.
Although we film several in each day, they drop them daily, but
Right.
so I have everything in the thing, and that's what I do. I do that for, like when I go to Europe too. I'll have the 7 days of the envelopes. You put everything in, but first you plan it all on paper. But if you do it that way, but it's really fun. Is there anything you want to teach? I could hook you up.
I mean, maybe. I
You
think
would
teaching
love.
a class like that would be really
You're a
cool.
teacher.
I
What
know,
would
I
you
like
teach?
teaching. Um,
This is why I love to agent and mentor.
I don't know.
What would you like to teach?
Well, I feel
Dogs?
yeah, dogs
Draw
maybe.
dogs.
Dogs, flowers. I feel like that's what I draw a lot
Mm,
of. Yeah.
okay, we could talk about that
Hmm.
off the air. Well, I think we're done.
Yeah, a lot of
It's
good
an
questions
hour. Look
today.
at
I
that.
know.
It's like
I
I'm
was
like
just
a
gonna say
robot.
psychic. I can't believe you actually did psychic readings in New York. That's so cool. I did not know
I
that.
can't. I lived out of a backpack for 6 months too, around Europe and Middle East. So
We have a lot more stories for the
I got
future
stuff.
chats.
I got stuff. Live long, be adventuresome. This was fun. First time I made it to one.
Oh,
Oh, it
yay,
was great.
cutie. Glad you made it.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, Lisa Congdon does a lot. Creative Bug is lovely. It's very cool. I think it's one of the coolest. Well, Domestika is doing cool stuff too,
They
for
make
sure.
really beautiful
They
videos,
do,
high
yeah.
quality.
Hmm. I had a chat Q&A session. Oh, that's good. It was after you shot Treasure Hunt your creative style. Yeah, there was Treasure Hunt your artistic style, Treasure Hunt your writing style.
Mm.
And I overpack and do too much. And I said to them, next time I do it, I'm going to keep it really simple. I'm just going to do like fountain pens, and both
And is
they,
that what you did?
not yet. And I'm like, both they know and I know, I don't think I can not bring everything,
Yeah,
because
I don't think you can.
before you do something, you're like, oh, I got to show people this. Oh my God, they'll love that. They'll love that. And bup. And then you
Mhm.
bring a lot. But it's a good way to go, right?
Mhm.
Better that than being bored. And let me tell you one last thing. I was just talking to my husband too, and I was talking to Julia, my my bookkeeper. She comes every Wednesday morning, picks up the royalty checks and stuff. So we're talking. She said about this other woman, about my age and stuff, and I'm so grateful. I have mastery, expertise. Just keep getting good at what you love.
Mm.
It'll carry you through the ups and downs of life. It'll carry you through when you get older. Expertise is one of the greatest gifts. It gives you what you're passionate about. And we as artists, that we can sit and make freaking pictures, even if they're not always so-called great. What is great? Whatever. We sat and we drew and we listened to a podcast or music. We had a wonderful experience. And we get to buy art supplies. That's the one drawback of digital.
Yeah.
You can't buy art. What can you
You can
buy?
buy brushes, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's it.
An art set, you can't import brushes, but they have a
Mm.
bajillion.
Yeah, you were showing it to me. There's
It's
so many out there.
insane.
Yeah, I don't think you need anything else.
Yeah, like, I did that. It's a little blurry, but you see? I mean, you can get great stuff. Okay. Any final words for the people?
No, I don't think so. Just thanks
Okay.
for being here, everyone.
Yeah.
Love sharing this time with you, and thanks for all your questions.
Yeah, thank you so much. Oh, wait, what's this? Digital, uh, about your adventures past to New York City. Yeah. And I had a whole life before that. Okay, looking forward to the next time. Hope you'll all be here, there. It was fun having you. And we will see you again.
Yeah, see you next time.
Yep.
All right,
Bye.
bye.